You just couldn't walk away from your TV to watch it. I want to know,
I remember
Brian,
all I wanted to do that day was go and hug my mom. I think everybody across the country felt that way.
Yeah, it was. I lost it a couple of times on air. I'll admit it. That was one of the toughest days I think on air for me ever. I know that you're also going to be talking, or you did talk rather. You had an exclusive with Ryan Seacrest, and
that's right.
And you got an interesting little tidbit from him. Yes.
We did. That kind of sums up reliable sources in a nutshell. You know, we cover
bylines, the New York Times covering media, and now your face is on television, will be every week.
Yes.
Well, tell us about this transition from print to television. Has it been a challenge?
You know, it's been easier than I expected. The makeup is still...
Not the truth.
Absolutely. Brian Stelter, host of CNN's Reliable Sources.
Welcome to the CNN family. We're so glad to have you here, Brian, and good luck today with your first program. 11 a.m. Eastern, people. Yep, 11 a.m. Eastern. We will be watching Brian. Take care.
Brian. Thanks. Hey, still to come on New Day, finding the strength, and we've been having this conversation, the strength to forgive.
Forgive, and yet it's imperative, it says in these scriptural texts, to forgive. In the New Testament, for instance, Jesus makes it absolutely a command that one must forgive.
And I want to preface this by saying I don't want people to think that I am questioning the motive of Nelson Mandela when I ask this question, because it takes a lot to go and have tea with the widow of the man who created the apartheid system.
So one of the things that I've learned in my own life, and I think was the hardest thing for me to get about forgiveness, though I finally did, was you can forgive someone and still cut them out of your life. You know, if somebody is dangerous for you in your life, if they're not a good person to have in your life, you can still cut them out. You're allowed to do that. I mean, it doesn't make them suddenly safe for you just because you've forgiven them, right? And isn't it a defense mechanism? What does the Bible say about that?
No, forgiveness is not the same. It keeps you thankful that you're not in that circumstance anymore if you remember what it was like. So I think forgetting is not how we feel about them, but what we do towards them. And can we avoid escalating or retaliating or seeking revenge, but rather letting that go, as you said. That's something we can do, even if we don't ever forget.
But how do we do that? Don't you wonder?
Yeah, I mean, how do we start that conversation? Even I think a lot of what we're talking about is a post-Robben Island Mandela. A pre-Robben Island Mandela was probably more of an eye for an eye person than a turn the other cheek.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, because that's in the Bible, and there seem to be, some people say, conflicting messages. You have, you know, an eye for an eye in the Old Testament. Then we have turn the other cheek. So can those two ideas even coexist? I mean, how do you, is one more important than the other? What do you say to that?
Well, an eye for an eye in the legal material of the Old Testament, but you couldn't kill him. So actually it was a way to contain escalation of violence or reparation. So it really doesn't have anything to do with forgiveness. Food, if he's thirsty, feed him. But I think one key thing about the biblical material, like saying the violent things are said, but I think it's, to Jeff's point, it's a way that the psalmists, these ancient Israelites, worked through their feelings, and they did so within the context of prayer to God, not in an angry fist towards their neighbor. And in that way, it's a way to actually contain the violence as well as let it go at the same time. Let it go, but not let it own you, and actually make it a part of a different relationship, a relationship not with your enemy proper, but with the divine and with others.
Wow. Dr. Jeff Gardier, thank you so much. Brent Strong,
Pleasure.
of course, thank you as well.
So glad to have both of you here. Thank you.
It was a great conversation. You know,
As being a Sunday, I know you're probably looking ahead at your week, wondering what's on tap. Well, we're going to help you out here and let you know what's going on. First of all, on Tuesday, Nelson Mandela's memorial service in South Africa. World leaders, including President Obama, former Presidents George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton, all going to be on hand for that. And then Wednesday, it's Time's Person of the Year being announced. As always, the editors choose the official winner. But there is an online poll, and for that, Egypt's defense minister came out on top. Others on the list, by the way, include New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and, yes, Miley Cyrus. So we'll see what they decide there. Friday. Is Friday a big budget day for you? You know, you get your paycheck, you see where it's going to go. Well, it is for Congress. Negotiation deadlines for it. That's what's going to be on tap. Important, of course, because getting it done on time is going to avoid another federal shutdown. And then on Saturday, marking the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting tragedy. 1 year ago on that day, a gunman opened fire in a Connecticut elementary school, killing 26 people, most of them, as you remember, young children. And then Sunday, Nelson Mandela will be laid to rest. This funeral and burial is going to be on the grounds of the leader's childhood home, so in the hills where he used to run and play as a child, Victor. And of course, we'll be covering all of that for you throughout the week.
Of course, Christy, thanks this morning. Let's bring in meteorologist Jennifer Gray, because we've got this storm out there that's now moving. We saw the snow in D.C. and
incredible pictures coming out of D.C. right now. Wintry mix. Also had some pictures come out of Dallas where, you know, people take pictures of all the frozen things, freezing, which is going to be in another day or so.
It's always pretty when we're looking at it on TV or out a window, but when you have to drive in it, to travel at all, then it becomes dangerous.
Hey, Jennifer, thank you so much.
No problem.
Appreciate the heads up on everything today, because everybody's